What is going on, Breadwinners? Hummus Thunder here, and today I am bringing you guys a brand new video. In today's video, I will be going over the most crucial settings that you should have if you are playing Modern Warfare on the PC and even on console. Now, some of these might be more specific to PC players, but there are some things that console players should do to give them the advantage in every gunfight. So, without wasting any more time, if you guys are enjoying the content on the channel, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe. Let's get straight into the video. So, starting from the top, I am playing on PC, just so you know, so I have a keyboard and mouse section right over here. The first thing that I would recommend all PC keyboard and mouse players, even controller players, is find the sensitivity that really caters to you. Don't stick with what the game gave you as the default sensitivity, because for example on controller here, I play on a 1212 0.75 ADS sensitivity multiplier, standard aim assist response curve, no controller vibration, tactical flip, and I have a 0.20 dead zone. This just goes to show you I play a lot differently than the default settings. But moving back to the PC side of things, and when we go over to general, this is for my PC players. Field of view, let's go crank that bad boy up to 120. I'm going to tell you exactly why. Unless your PC cannot handle it, 120 FOV lets you see a lot more than the average FOV that the game gives you. Now the game gives you an FOV of about 80 to 85, so it's about this little square here. So this is how much you see through the peripherals of your character. Now if you jump it up to 120, which I know sounds like a lot at first, it may seem a little disorienting or it's too hard to play. Look how much space you have. You will obviously get a lot better as you keep playing with it. Here I'll be going over the differences between 120 FOV, 85 console FOV, and the absolute lowest 60 FOV. Here you're seeing the difference between the two. You can obviously tell with 60 and 85 and 120, the higher the FOV, the more you see around you and the faster you seem to move. You don't actually move faster, but it looks like you do. So my recommendation for you guys would be to bump that FOV over to 120 and then go ahead in the ADS field of view, change that bad boy to affected. The reason why you want to switch to affected is because when you're aiming down sights, it doesn't block out the peripherals. Yes, it'll look like the target is a little bit farther away, but you'll have way less visual recoil, which might help you in the long run. To this day, I still don't know why console players don't have the option to change FOV on console. It might be due to the performance of the console itself that's hindering it from having an FOV slider. The next thing that is super crucial, okay, is Minimap Shape. If you have circle, do yourself a favor. After this video, get off and change it to a square. Now the square minimap gives you a lot more coverage in comparison to the round minimap. It lets you see more of the map that you're playing on, and let's face it, more coverage equals more awareness as to what's going on. You do want to have minimap rotation on. It helps you focus on which direction you're running. And moving back to bindings for PC players, please go to your movement and change your prone behavior to toggle. You don't want hold to prone, you want toggle. This will give you the really simple drop shots. You click one button, for example, mine is tab. When I click tab, I go straight to a prone stance, and that helps with drop shots and helps you cut down on those little milliseconds that it'll take by holding it. This will give you an advantage in any gunfights if you decide to drop shot the opponent. So now we are over on the graphical settings. Now there's some very important settings over here that a lot of players should be taking advantage of. See, I have an RTX 2080, I play on 1440p, and these are just the way I like to do things. Most of it is on high. I do have textures on normal just because I don't see that big of a difference for the amount of VRAM that it takes up. Big one that I like to change are these. Depth of field, turn it off. What that does is it blurs the surroundings when you're ADSing, which you don't need. I mean, would you guys rather have the surroundings by you blurred out or not when you're aiming down sights? And to me, not having them blurred is so much better because you're able to see what's going on to the left and right of you while you're aiming down the sights. So I would definitely put this on disabled. I would recommend going down to filmic strength and putting that down to 0 as well. Please turn off motion blur. I see a whole lot of videos on Reddit of people playing with motion blur, and you guys need to realize it might look cool at first, but motion blur definitely hurts your performance in the game. Now what I mean by that is the way that you play and how easy it is to spot things while you're moving. When you're moving around and the world is blurring like this, it's a lot harder to see a guy standing in this window than it would be if he was in this window. Same thing with weapon motion blur. It really helps with snap aiming if you have this off, which is why I recommend having both of these off. Going over to film grain, this just looks nasty. I don't know why anyone would run this. Go ahead and turn it all the way down to 0. These are probably one of the most important graphical settings. I know a lot of people can argue about the tessellation and then the textures and shadow resolutions and stuff. People will run this on low for Warzone, turn the tessellation off, but I for one don't really care about that so much, so I leave those the way they are. Going over to audio, we have boost high audio mix. Turn this on if you're playing with a headset. This will help you hear things a lot more clearer. For example, footsteps, gunshots, things of that nature. Boost high is the go-to audio mix to use. I have some of these turned down to the way I like them just because it's a little too loud. We all know this game can be pretty loud, so I have those down. But there you have it, guys. Those are the best settings that I personally use. To me, these help, and I honestly think it'll help you as well if you adopt these into your game. If you did adopt these settings and it helped you play a lot better, let me know in the comment section down below. I would be happy to see people playing a lot better than they normally would. But until then, I will catch you guys on the next Homicide episode. Peace.